Good morning and welcome to another little video. Just before I get started, I just wanted to do a bit of housekeeping regarding this 20-minute book, the publication that we lovingly know as the 20-minute book. In this case, we're calling it Traveller's Guide to the Third Dimension. But throughout the years that we've been printing this booklet and giving it away for free, mailing it off around the world and all sorts of things like that, at its core, we've been printing the reviews of the first 50 lessons of the course. And in this one, we've got some bits in the beginning from other teachers around the world and other sources other than A Course in Miracles, but which is all associated. And this particular one, the Traveller's Guide, was printed probably about eight to 10 years ago now, as part of an effort to bring light to an idea of suicide prevention, or to put into that sort of frame, which is what the little story in the front is about, which, as far as I know, is still quite a prevalent issue today. But this little booklet specifically was designed for that. Other issues have just been more simply the core teaching of the first 50 lesson reviews, but we're up for a reprint. We're looking to do a reprint for this little booklet. We need $10,000 to print 5,000 of them, and they're given away freely. But this time I'd like to get them printed in America, since I send so many of them over there. It makes sense to get them printed there. What with the cost of shipping and everything today, we'd need another couple of $1,000s to ship them over. So what I was directed to do was to invite people to join in an idea of having a little fundraising event. Now, it didn't come to me what the fundraising event should be, but to leave that rather up to those of you who are interested to join in this venture. And it's a collaborative venture, which is being hubbed together by Tina. So Tina Tyler, if you look in my friends list, you'll find her there, and I'll put a link to her down below. You can contact her, and hopefully we'll have a little trust account up and running, so that any monies raised through whatever you want to do, whether you're putting on a market stall or a fete or a bingo challenge or something, I don't know. Whatever it comes to you that feels like fun, and having a bit of fun and do something good with the proceeds at the same time. And in this particular case, mind training, helping people getting there together. So anyway, that being said, contact Tina if you're interested, or if you want to know a bit more about it. There's not really a lot more to say. I mean, at this stage, the snowball is at the top of the hill, and we've just given it a little push. So I think as things go along, it'll build, and hopefully, and we'll see what happens. So I just wanted to talk in this video mainly about being objective, which is something I had a discussion with last night about with someone at my table, and we were talking about the idea of using your triggers. And everybody gets triggered or gets their buttons pushed, and so in the idea of learning to be vigilant, learning to be aware of when you are being triggered, rather than to just simply be reactive and fly off the handle at the trigger's prompt. Learning to be objective then, and standing back or stepping back from that whole situation. Now, you've got to catch yourself in the moment. Right, this is where you have to train yourself to be purposeful. So if you catch yourself in the moment of being triggered, right, now that I've said it, now that I've mentioned it in this video, the next time you are triggered, it'll pop into your mind, and you'll be like, wait a minute, I've got something else I can do now, instead of flying off the handle and creating this cause and effect relationship chain event, what they call that, chain reaction event, where it just goes back and forth for no apparent purpose. So the next time you catch yourself being triggered, step back, make a decision to be objective, and ask within yourself, is there a better way to see this situation? Is there a better way to respond, to react, to open this situation up so that peace can be the fruit of it? It's not always going to be easy at first. Like I said, you might just completely forget. You might be completely ignorant of the fact that you've been triggered. And of course, the mind that sleeps, or the mind that is triggered, will be ignorant of that fact, because ignorance is the status quo under which it operates. And learning to activate yourself, learning to break that pattern, to get out of that rut of response, takes a lot of determination in the beginning. It's not until you begin to see how beneficial learning to become objective can be to your life that you become more and more finely tuned to those little emotional triggers, those little prompts that make you want to point the finger out there rather than keep it on your own nose, on my own nose. So learning to become objective, then stepping back and asking within, asking spirit, right? So spirit is mind, asking in your own mind, help me to see this differently. And then wait. Don't just decide off the next thought that pops into your head what you think that differently should be. Wait and just step back into a silent place for a moment and allow something not of your own thinking, something else to come through, which will either expand your awareness of the overall situation or give you perhaps a specific response or something that seems to make sense of it and seems to offer a doorway to peace in that situation. Okay, it's really that simple. We're stepping back, asking to be shown and waiting for an answer, and then doing what we're instructed to do or given to do. This is a major tool in the psychological toolbox of anyone who's pursuing the enlightenment of their mind or their evolutionary process in a interactive, proactive kind of a way. Right? It's an incredible tool to have in that toolbox. And as you go along in life, you'll pick up other psychological tools. You'll pick up other principles and applications for principles that will sort of sit somewhere here in the back of your mind unneeded until the moment that they are needed. And then they'll just pop forward. But if you don't have those tools, you've got nothing. You've only got your own responses, the same old circular nothingness that keeps bringing that learning opportunity to you. And of course, it is a learning opportunity because everything is learning here, learning, teaching to learn. Everything is a learning opportunity. And without the tools, you don't know how to learn. You cannot know how to learn. Because what the goal of all learning is to reunite or to remember truth, right? Or to reunite with truth, which in the situations that seem to show up, peace is the harbinger of truth in those situations. Okay? You have to have a alternate reference point in order to begin to see how it is that your mind has been working and how it is that it can work, given the willingness to allow something a little bit miraculous to happen. Right? You can have a reference point, a different reference point through revelation. If you're lucky enough to have a revelation or the enlightenment of your mind or something divine as a non-temporal reference point, you can safely use that in any situation. Otherwise, learning about tools, learning about being objective, about forgiveness, about all these other things that go along with a spiritual discipline, and keeping them there in your hip pocket, in the toolbox of your psychological kit, will be, for the time being, an alternate reference point or a whole field of alternate reference points which are bundled up as one alternate action of mind, right? Which is deferral from that first voice, that first response, which is always going to be the ego because it always speaks first, into a stepping back and asking. Stepping back and asking, how should I see this? Give me another way to look at this situation. I don't like how I feel in this situation. It seems to be triggering me. I seem to be getting upset by it, blah, blah, blah. Help me to see it differently. If God's will is done on earth, help me to see God's will in this situation. What is it that I can learn here? What is it that I can teach here to learn? And help me to do that. Guide me. All right, so it's that simple. And I hope that sticks with you, and I hope you can hear it. You might want to watch that little section of this video again, or you might want to watch the whole video again and contact Tina in regards to being helpful, because being of service without necessarily knowing what that service ought to look like is also part and parcel of the particulars of allowing the mind to open to new things, right? And since we're in a process of embracing everything, including in the entire universe, a little fundraising event may as well be part of that. It cannot not be, since I've brought it up in this video. This is how it was, and this is the way the script was written. So just settle back into it and just say yes, wow, and thank you, and enjoy the ride. Oh, and if you can't say yes, wow, and thank you, ask for help. Help me, Lord. I seem to have resistance. What is there to resist if God is everything and God is love? Resistance then must be illusion, must be nothing more than a premise held dear somewhere hidden in the mind to be fearful of change. Right? In this world, constant change here on earth is the same as constant changelessness in eternity. The constancy is the vibration, right? Singular above, singular on earth. Above it looks like changelessness, on earth constant change, which is why we're learning to go with the flow. One day this, one day that. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. And we'll be led into whatever situations and events we need to, perhaps like this. Got the sun coming up there. Which will give us more opportunity to learn to become miracle-minded. And that's it. Peace. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.